Hey there, everybody. This video is about a subject that is near and dear to Jess and I's hearts, and it's certainly not something that I expected we were going to be talking about today, and that is the cancellation of Ink Master.
I really did not expect to be talking about this at all. This is a show that's been on for 13 seasons. It is beloved in the community by us. I still can't even believe that this is happening.
But I think the big question, kind of starting us off here, is why this is happening. We're going to try to put that into a little bit of context. I think there's a lot of different reasons why we are here, but we'll also sort of talk through, is this really it? Like, is there any hope for this show that really felt like it was sort of one of those franchises that could live on forever?
Yes.
Like, where else could it go? We'll go through that. Before we do, though, if you enjoy this video, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more. And if you do want to support us further, check those links to the store and also our Patreon.
So we'll give you a little bit of sort of background on Ink Master and sort of our involvement with it because we've been covering this show since the very first season, and we've been doing interviews for this show, doing exit interviews, talking to all the artists. For years we've been doing that, and even this time last year I was at the finale out in Las Vegas. I certainly didn't think this was going to happen. I mean, yes, there was all the controversy that happened with Oliver. He ended up getting fired from the show. It was renewed for season 14, so I was just like, okay, they're going to bring on Clean Rock 1, and here we go as a new judge. I thought for sure we were going to get an announcement either, about him or someone else, but that's sort of where we are with this. So for losing Ink Master, this really hits me in the heart.
Yeah, it's shocking in so many different ways. Like the Oliver thing, I was just like, all right, get this guy out of here. Like, I was done with Oliver after all that sort of stuff came out.
Yeah, bring in Ryan Ashley, bring in Clean Rock.
Like, there would have been plenty of other people out there. I don't know if there's going to be a corner of the internet that suggests that stuff has anything to do with the show ending. I don't think it does. I think there's plenty of other people in the tattoo world that could have done his job.
Yep.
I think this really comes down, in my head anyway, to a few different things. Like, the ratings were still solid enough. Like, it wasn't like a smash hit. It's not like The Walking Dead or anything, but I think it was probably doing well enough in a normal world. It could have kept going, but, with what is happening out there in the world right now, I know some shows are going back to work. I don't know how you send a show like Ink Master back to work kind of in this current, health climate right now.
Yeah, and I was thinking kind of like that too until I saw that Dancing with the Stars was coming back, which feels like a very, close in your face, shouldn't be happening kind of show right now. So now I'm of the opinion that if Dancing with the Stars has figured it out, then they can have some tattooing going on.
I feel like they probably could if they were sort of doing like this, okay, if you want to be a human canvas, you got to go through all this quarantine procedure, and maybe they could find a way to do it. Maybe it was just like, you know what, we don't want to put these people up in hotels or whatever else. Maybe they were being cheap. I don't know.
Yeah, because all the artists end up all just staying in a loft or whatever together, so they would all be safe.
Really, it sounds like the thing that is causing this show to be canceled more than anything else, according to Variety, is that the Paramount Network, originally Ink Master was on Spike. Spike rebranded itself as Paramount. Now Paramount is rebranding itself again as the Paramount Movie Network, and they are going in this direction where they're going to be all about original movies, limited series, stuff kind of in the Yellowstone vein to a certain degree, and with that, they're just like, you know what, all of our unscripted stuff, we're going to ship Bar Rescue somewhere else, Lip Sync Battle can go somewhere else, and Ink Master, you're just going to the nearest dumpster and you're done and that's it.
Yeah, and when they first rebranded as Paramount Network, I was pretty nervous for Ink Master because it was a really good fit on Spike. This was the right network, the right audience, and, it leans more towards males. It's not all males. Yeah. I'm not a male. I love this show. And so, but once it started to move into this, and it was like, oh, and Yellowstone is coming out, I'm like, Yellowstone and Ink Master on the same network. This feels really strange. All right, we'll see how it goes. And then Yellowstone started just murdering in the ratings. Like, it is killing. So, here we are, where it's like now they've released this thing saying that unscripted shows like Ink Master, like Wife Swap, Battle of the Fittest Couples, they're all canceled.
I think the biggest reason I'm just kind of surprised about the timing of it more than anything else is that, yeah, like we just said, it would be difficult but still feasible to do Ink Master amidst what's going on in the world right now, but it's probably easier to do Ink Master or Wife Swap than it is like a full-on scripted production with all the health limitations and everything else.
The only thing I was wondering about that at some point they might come to a spot where they just weren't gonna have enough tattoo artists to come onto the show, because you may not want to leave your shop. You want to get people who are masters, and most of the masters are going to be owning their shops or having a high position in their shop where they may not want to leave for however many months that they have to film. That's a lot of money. You lose a lot of clients. People might find other artists not willing to wait for you. And going into season 14, it's, you know, how big is this pool of tattoo artists? It's not humongous.
That is the weirdest part of this to me, because they had technically already renewed Ink Master for another season, and you know, we haven't heard yet that season is still happening, but based on the Variety report right now, I think we have to assume that it's over and it's not happening anymore.
Yeah, and we just saw something like that happen with Stumptown, where it was renewed and then it was just canceled. So, I mean, it does happen. So, do we think that season 14 is coming? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not optimistic unless the show does find another home elsewhere. And we've been thinking about this. And I'll tell you, there's one network that came to mind just while we were doing this that I wasn't even thinking about beforehand. FX. I don't know if this is really a strong possibility, but it feels like the people who watch Sons of Anarchy, Mayans, like this would be sort of the Ink Master audience, I think, to a certain extent.
Yeah, I don't know if FX wants to really get into more of the reality stuff, but if they did, Ink Master is a good spot.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of cable networks that could kind of sort of work out well here that kind of have this audience.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking about A&E. They kind of have shows that are sort of in that same kind of realm. It felt like that might be a nice fit.
It's hard because it's hard to really think about, it doesn't really fit with a lot of the networks that do reality programming because it doesn't feel like the same demographic that a lot of them are going after. This is my dream, is that, Netflix, they got The Circle right now. They've got a couple other shows that they found some success with in reality. Mm-hmm. What if Amazon is just like, you know what we want to try to do? Let's get all in on this. They've been releasing The Boys sort of weekly as of late. Give us Ink Master. Give us all the swearing, because the thing is with Ink Master, it feels like half of the dialogue is bleeped every episode.
Oh, it's true. And Amazon, I actually think, would be a pretty good fit for that too, because it also feels like it's kind of geared a little more towards men, with stuff like The Boys or The Expanse, Bosch, Goliath, Sneaky Pete. I mean, yes, of course, women love those shows too. I love those shows. But it feels like it's got a pretty good audience that would see Ink Master and be interested right away.
I just have to admit, in general, I'm not overly concerned yet, but I'm a little nervous about the future of like the reality competition format right now, because Big Brother's not exactly batting 1,000 with the quality of its seasons as of late. The Amazing Race, I know they have one coming in October. I don't know when they're going to be able to film again.
Yeah, and AGT hasn't really been that exciting this year either.
Yeah, and Survivor on hold a really long time. Who knows what this Dancing with the Stars experiment with Tyra is going to end up looking like. I just didn't want to lose Ink Master. It was like a truly creative show. And yeah, we get really irritated with the judges or certain twists that are thrown out there, but it's still a fun show to watch here and there.
I just loved the artistry of it. Like, yes, of course, I was always frustrated with the judges, and they always had their favorites that were clearly favorites from very early on. You could kind of pick out who was going to go far and who wasn't. But there was such artistry on the show, and there is no other show that's really like that. That's just a show that's about art.
This is a bummer. We're going to all kind of have to sit with this news for a while. We'll let you know if anything changes, but for now, seems like it's done, and it's done suddenly.
I can't believe it. Like, yeah. I've been, as I said, I've covered this show for all these seasons and all these years since the very beginning. I just can't believe it's done.
No, they had like 1 billion spinoffs, and it's like all of this is just like poof, gone, puff and smoke. But all right, well, what do you guys think about this? Are you shocked like us? Where do you think Ink Master could go? Let us know in the comments, and if you do like this video, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, support us further, check those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.